Chainlink price update starting off on the daily chart. Then we're going to zoom out to the weekly and maybe even monthly. Look at the macro picture and what to expect next out of Chainlink. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you want more content and daily updates, you can consider subscribing through Patreon. It's linked below. And we cover altcoins, Bitcoin, dominances, market caps, everything and more. Let's get to it. The daily chart. The 600 EMA, this dark red, that's our kind of our line in the sand to gain some more traction. We've done great in being a slow buildup. These big pump and dumps, you got to be watching out for. A big move could do anything, but these slow builds making and taking over the big moving averages are key. So we might see that the 600 is the biggest one, but that's not what our biggest line is. What do I mean by that? I'm glad you asked. The 21 EMA, this yellow line, we haven't had consecutive daily closes above that since our January highs up in this area, $25, $26 area. That was really our start of our major downtrend here. Not just for Chainlink, but crypto wide, we're all well aware of. But this slow build up, working on at least one daily close tomorrow, sometime this week, we might actually get two. There's some momentum on our side building. Bitcoin Heikin-Ashi candles on the weekly time scale are starting to print green on Heikin-Ashi, which is a big momentum, and we haven't had that since January either. Bitcoin's big test is around 92K level. We'll see how it goes between now and then for Chainlink, right? We need Bitcoin to do well if we want Chainlink to do well. The bigger bulls for Chainlink, and this is not going to change, right? It's above $20. That should be no surprise. We've been battling $20 for Chainlink for a number of years even. Been a key pivot level. So you can see previous range highs before our big candles. Came back to range lows again, even on major wick dips. And that flipped to resistance right here in mid-February. And then that's where it's been holding us down. Go back below the 600, slowly build your way back up. You want to cross this EMA 8, the red line, over the yellow, and also greatly increases your momentum to the high side or the downside. Anytime you can do that after a major trend shift, that's where your momentum lies. So we're on the cusp of doing that again in the next day or two. So watch for that. All right, let's zoom out to the weekly. And now we see where we bounced. Why did we bounce there? Well, the 200 week was right there, right at 1275. We bounced off of it perfectly. We held it loosely here, right? Just zigzag around the 200 week. This time, right on it. Are the lows in? I would say highly probable for a lot of altcoins here. A lot of altcoins have higher RSIs on the daily chart than they have, again, since January, since these highs. That's a good sign. You want your RSIs strength high. Let's see what Chainlink says on the weekly. We're still not quite to the macro bullish side, but if we flip over to the daily, you can see we've now just made a higher high on RSI since we've seen these January prices, right? When we're at $25, $26 for Chainlink, you want your RSI back to the bullish side of the fence, over 50, which we have not been since the early part of the year. That's a good sign of strength, obviously, by definition. And you can build on that big time if you haven't had done it in quite some time. That's what we're doing. So pivot over 15, close over 15 on the daily, and then we can focus on the macro of that $20 level, which we'd have to overtake all moving averages here. Here's that $20 up in that zone. But our key pivot on the weekly is the 21 EMA. You hold it as support, you break through it, you flip it to resistance, and that's led to our downfall, right? Just key TA levels there. So what do we need to do? The opposite. We have to flip that back. Just above 17 as of right now. May very well be around 17 or maybe just shy of it in the next couple of weeks as we get up there again. Again, the pivot point for Bitcoin is 92. Once that is the true test for Bitcoin, if Bitcoin breaks through 92, I think all hell will start to break loose for altcoins, Chainlink included. And we're going to see, not only back to range highs, but likely new all-time highs. So we can address that once we start to climb the ladder. But looking for, I think at this point, beggars not be choosers. Let's at least hope for the lows to be in across alts. And I think there's plenty of signs to say that that's probable. All right, so that's the weekly. Let's do a final kind of round out because we're in the last week of March. Last month, February, we closed right at the yellow 21-month EMA. We're right on it right now with a long-legged doji candle so far. We have 7 days left. Fine. Sometimes what we'd like to see, right, and a typical kind of bottoming pattern on the macro scale would be a big red bar, an indecisive candle, like a long-legged doji like this, and then you'd see a big green bar the very next month coming back and eclipsing at least half of the prior candle. That would be an epic sign of the lows being in, certainly after wicking to the 50-month down there, and then close back over 20 next month perhaps, or higher, right? We'll take higher. And that would be a sign of not only the lows being in, but much higher highs coming quicker than not. So that's what I'd be looking for on the macro scale. And was the 21-month any significant moving average in the past? I'm glad you asked. Let's go look. Just so happens, the last time we tested the 21-month was the precursor to the mega rally that lasted for the better part of a year after that. Went from a low of $1.50 to our highs of $53. Leave that right there to let that marinate. We just went down, holding the 21-month, wicking down a little bit lower. Imagine the bounce if, this time next month we're above 20. Good chance so far. So far, so good. We're doing the building blocks that we need to do to get there. All right, let's do our quote of the day, and then we'll cut you loose. Idealism increases in direct proportion to one's distance from the problem. Couldn't agree more. Card of the day. Let's move me out of here. BMW M8 in probably the best color I've ever seen from a factory color of any manufacturer, maybe. Striking. I love that green. Look at the carbon in the front. Let's see if I got a rear. There you go. Great looking BMW M8. Alrighty, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching this long. If you have 47 gold stars, you deserve it.